what I took away from the description of LIPCC at that time was, oh, I can get my certification through ICF in community with this wonderful group of people who I have come to know and trust. And without that accountability and putting myself in a pressure cooker of time, I was fearful that I'd let it go because I knew deeply that this was connected to my purpose and I wanted to take advantage of the momentum and the growth that I had experienced in PBC 1 and 2 to go into LIPCC. It beyond exceeded my expectations.
What really drew me in was the bigger framing of what we were doing around presence-based coaching. So thinking about the whole coaching arc, a lot of the work in presence-based coaching in the beginning part is around that coaching engagement. LIPCC was giving us structure around that. And then the second piece was, again, getting peer-to-peer support in coaching with others and getting feedback. And then the third part is just coming together twice, even though there was only a week at each time. Those components really solidified and brought me through the process.
So what initially drew me in is I had a gap between finishing PBC and doing LIPCC, and in that time really did not coach a lot. And I was really feeling like I was losing the skills, losing just the muscle, losing the presence, losing the practice, and wanted to get back to that. Through my conversations with BB about that and kind of what I was hoping to get out of it in terms of kind of kickstarting be back in this and ability to really get over the finish line and getting certified and kind of getting back into that practice. It more than exceeded those expectations in terms of that. But I saw my growth through the peer coaching that we got to do, through the ARs the audio reviews that we got to do with BB and with Amy, through all of the practices, just an exponential change in my coaching in terms of my confidence and my skill set and really just my understanding of the PBC model and kind of how to leverage that for myself.
I knew that I wanted to get to LIPCC because I felt like that would be the way to wrap all of the PBC pieces up together and do it in a really personal way with people. We had all had some pretty transformative experiences to get to LIPCC, and this was going to help us deepen it for ourselves and then help us to learn how to create these experiences of learning and connection with our clients. For me, it was the silence and the listening. There was something about the way we got better at embracing silence and paying attention and being in presence in a way that didn't feel natural.
On an intellectual level, I understood that we were going to get a deeper understanding of the model. The first day I did tell BB, I pulled her aside and said, oh my gosh, like I had no idea the gift that this course was providing to me. I went in with a belief of more professional development and more personal development, and believe very strongly still and take with me daily the acceleration that happens when you are living in presence.
There's a lot of personal transformation that happens just by being in the program, being committed to your peers and going through the process. One thing I walked away that really helped me a lot is the structure of an engagement. And it really helps me with my clients because there's a very purposeful kickoff, which really allowed me to set up what was going to happen throughout coaching. But like one of my favorite moments is the mid check-in, which you'll learn in LIPCC. That adds so much value in how are things going and setting it up and talking about it. But that structure of starting off, writing out the objectives, what you want to work on, to the middle check-in, to the end check-in, and all the little steps in between.
It was the simultaneous how to add and create that structure and then do less within it. I felt like prior to this, I was doing way too much. I now feel like I have way more of this internal system of recognizing when I'm stepping into these habits and these ways of being. That 6-month container, I think, was just unique in that way that is different than mentor coaching. I think that was just truly invaluable to me.
The feedback that I've received that's definitely an impact from LIPCC is the ability to hold space and be present with somebody. But the other part that I also hear about is the ability to get people to self-reflect in following the process of going like, where are you feeling that? What's the emotion? What's the story? Those 3 moves alone are incredibly powerful over and over.
You sound like you know what you're doing. Not that I didn't before, but you know what I mean? There was just a confidence in the skills and how I use myself and presence with clients.
The framework of the client having ownership over the process with you as coach is something that was refreshing to clients who knew me from a previous context in coaching. It's so in alignment with how the coaching relationship is different than any other type of consultative or mentorship or other label that people who say they're coaches are what they're doing.
I felt really pulled and kind of challenged by it. And I think for me, that was the calling, because I think it was an intuition that it was time for me to kind of level up. And I was perhaps resisting the accountability and the work and the visibility that it was going to create. With that clarity, a lot more confidence and certainty in what I did have to offer and where I still had opportunity for development and growth for myself, but also within a community of resource that I now had. I still lean on a few folks that I stay connected with PBC as well. But, I think this offered a whole nother level of community and connection, and is also, I know, going to continue to support me in my journey.
It reaffirmed for me that I was more than capable and qualified, and that I had an offering that was unique, and I'm confident and capable of coaching leadership in that way. It more than prepares you for that.
That living in presence piece is what I took from this. This is not just a training or a modality or a structure. That all the work we've done so far in PBC 1 and 2, and if you did mentor coaching, all culminates in this. Now we live and embody this. It's so well named because that's exactly what I walked out with. This is how I am. This is how I'm going to be as a person, as a coach, as a consultant even, so that people know when they interact with me, they're interacting with somebody who sees them as a whole person and will sit with what that is and help you see it too.
What surprised me is it is very rigorous, the learning, the requirements, the expectations, and yet this spaciousness and this container allowed so much more of just the being.
Coming out of corporate America, coming out of, undergrad, grad school, that there was going to be this rigid approach where I was going to be evaluated and I was wondering if I could make it through. And what I experienced when I got there was just a holding of space. I remember the first week we got together, I was thinking, I was going to get all this feedback about my coaching and go through all this stuff. And I was like ready for this reflection. And there was just a lot of holding space for everyone, which allowed us to unfold into the coaches we're meant to be, which was really surprising and it was really nice.